Guys, welcome to Cards and Coffee. Today I have got a super fun card for you, and if you have been joining me the last couple weeks, we are going to pull that all together today actually. So we looked at last week about using blending brushes, and the week before that we used some blends to create a unique background. So today we're actually going to do both of those things. So this is maybe not a typical Cards and Coffee card because it does use a few supplies, but all of the things we're doing are not difficult, and I'm going to show you how to use a couple of the techniques I've showed you over the last couple weeks in a new way. So we are actually going to be using the Biggest Wish stamp set, as well as so we are combining some products that aren't necessarily aren't part of a package or a suite, but I want to show you how to pull this stuff together. So we've got the Biggest Wish stamp set, which I really love these fun different scripts that we have here. We are going to use the Beautiful Wings dies, the Brilliant Wings die. So there's a whole bunch of different butterflies. We're going to use those today. We are also going to use the Tea Boutique paper. And so what I'm going to do today, and I love our designer series paper because it really coordinate some maybe unique colors that we might not have thought of together in different ways. But if you look at the back of any of your packages of paper, it tells you right on the back what colors they have used in the designer series paper. So in this case, the Tea Boutique features Crumb Cake, Crushed Curry, Fresh Freesia, Garden Green, Orchid Oasis, Parakeet Party, Petal Pink, Starry Sky, Sweet Sorbet, and Tahitian Tide. So if we use any of those colors in our card, we are going to be successful at pulling our card together and in making something beautiful. So we're going to also use this paper today to make this card. You're going to see how quick and easy this comes together, but we are going to do a few things along the way. So what I've got today is I've got a couple pieces of scrap. These are actually the shimmery white cardstock. And the light's not so great in here because it's actually stormy outside. It's like raining and windy and gross, but this is like, it has glitter in the paper. So it's like your basic white paper with a shimmer. And so this is called your shimmery white cardstock. It's also a little bit thicker than your basic white. And so this works fabulous for watercoloring, using your Stampin' Blends because there's a little bit more paper. You don't get quite as much saturation with your paper. So this works wonderfully. It's also a great way just to add a little bit of glitter to your projects, which you know I love. Okay, so I've got a couple scraps here. And so what we're going to do first is I'm going to just bring out some Stampin' Blends. And so I wanted to pull out of the papers that I'm going to use, which are this pattern here, this Crushed Curry, and this Starry Sky. So I wanted to kind of pull some of the colors out of here. And some of the other complementary colors in the paper. And we are going to go back to what we did a couple weeks ago. And we are going to just be scribbling on our paper and creating some background. Now this is just fun. It is so fun to do this and to kind of create your own designs. So I'm going to add this, and then I'm actually going to go in and add a little bit of yellow to this one. And I'm literally just creating some color washes here. You could do this with watercoloring as well, but I love pulling out the Stampin' Blends because it's quick, it's easy, it dries really quickly. It doesn't sort of, warp your paper like water can if you're using a lighter colored paper. So I'm going to go like this. You could blend this up a little bit more. You don't need to. I'm also going to take on this one and I'm going to pull in a couple different colors. So I'm going to pull in the Tahitian Tide, which was listed as one of the colors. And I'm going to go back again. I think I'm going to also pull in some more of this orange. I love this pumpkin pie on here. It kind of brings in, I don't know, I just think it's really pretty. I'm going to pull that in. And then I'll just finish this up with a little bit of the yellow just in case we get down there. I don't know we'll actually be in the yellow, but I'm going to just kind of blend this through a little bit with the yellow. Okay. And the yellow I'm using is So Saffron. You could really use any yellow to do this as well. So what we're going to do now that we've colored this sort of, you might be looking at this and going, well, that's kind of weird. But if you remember last time we die cut out the teacup with that and stamped on it and it was beautiful. Today we're going to die cut some butterflies out of this. So I have got my mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine And you can use this for any dies that really will fit in here, and pieces of paper. So you can't fit in here a whole card front. This is for more smaller pieces. I'm gonna have to run this through twice because I don't want to, I'm gonna do a small one here. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm actually just putting this sideways. So I'm gonna get multiple colors on my butterfly. You could do it this way. So you've got dark and light. It's really up to you. And so it doesn't matter one way or another. So I'm going to do that there, and then I'm going to actually put this little guy down here. So now I've got orange and yellow, and I've got an orange and blue up here. I want like so. Okay, so let's do that, and then I'm going to just run this through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So it's just kind of hard to do sitting down here, and I might rock you a little bit, so I apologize for that. Okay, I got to stand up. I just can't get quite the right leverage that I need to run this through. Okay, so we've run through our butterflies here, and now I'm going to run through it again with my larger butterfly. So I'm going to stick this back over here. I'm going to put in my other piece of paper that we colored, and I'm going to stick this guy right in the middle and try to make it grab as much of the colors as we can. Actually, I want more purple in this, I think, than any other color. So we're going to just put it like that. Okay, now let's run this through. I gotta just make this catch. There we go. Okay. We're gonna wheel it through, and I know I'm making you all sick here by shaking the table, so I apologize. Okay, we've got our die cutting done here. So I'm gonna pull these off. Now the one thing, these are kind of intricate dies is what they call them, and the reason they call them that is because there's all these little pieces in here that you can see. So the easy way to do this is with your Take a Pick tool. I just used a little pokey end, and each of the dies has a little hole here kind of right in the middle. And if you poke in it, like our ones that don't have the little pieces, they don't kind of get stuck in there, but these ones do. You just kind of poke in here and you're gonna pop out your die. So then it's gonna just come out. And so you can kind of just go ahead and, I'm gonna see if I can find a scrap piece of paper for a second. Put this over top of your garbage can or whatever, and you can kind of just flick it, and a lot of it is going to come out just by giving it a little flick. But anything that doesn't come out, you can either take your brush here and brush it like this, and it'll loosen it up, or you can take your little pokey end again and just kind of poke it out. So we're going to do that today. I'm just going to poke these out. So this takes kind of a second, these little intricate dies, but it's worth it. Look at how pretty that is with all of the different colors on it. Gorgeous. So you could really make these any colors you want to match any paper that you have on hand. Using your blends is just a really fun way. Like, look how pretty that is. It's just such a fun way. I'm really enjoying that technique. So I hope you guys are too. Let me know if you've tried it, if you think you might try it. Like I said, you could do a similar thing with watercoloring, or also you could try it with your markers. You're not going to get quite as much of a blend or soft color on there, but I think that you would get a nice diverse background that you could work with as well. Like your Stampin' Write markers is what I was talking about. Okay, so this one doesn't have as many little pieces, so we've got that one already done. Whoa. And let's pop out this last one here. So I promise you this is the hardest part of the whole project, is just getting the little pieces out of these dies. Come on, little die. You can do it. Get out. This one's a little smaller and it doesn't really want to. There we go. Okay, and this one didn't come out with all the little pieces, so that's great. Okie dokie, we've got our butterflies. And so when you get these little pieces stuck in your die too, you can also just flick your die and get some out, or poke it again with your tool to get these little pieces all out. So I will do that later and clean that up. Okay, let's move all of these scraps out of the way. Make some room here. So now what we need to do is simply put our card together. So what I am making our card on today, I have a 4 1/4 by 11-inch piece of thick white cardstock, and I'm going to fold that in half so our card opens from the top. It's a top fold card. And I'm gonna just go like this, take my bone folder to give it a nice smooth edge to make sure it's gonna lay down nicely. And we're gonna start putting this together. So I'm gonna use this pattern, which I love this pattern. This is, I was going through the paper yesterday, just kind of sorting it into like colors, I guess, and came across this, and yeah, I think it's stunning, all the colors in there. So I'm gonna add, I just added some Stampin' Seal on the one side, and you could totally use liquid glue, whatever you have on hand. And then I just want a little tiny piece of the crushed curry sticking out. I don't want very much, so I just want to kind of see a little bit of color. And if you don't cut it out exactly the same length like me, we're just going to take this and trim that down so that we've got two of the same. Okay. All right. And then, so this is going to go here. But what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take this piece of, this is Orchid Oasis. It has just a slightly kind of textured look to it with some pattern. It's sort of like a washed out look. And I'm going to just stick that here right against the left side of my card, all the way from the top to the bottom. And then this piece is going to go over top, just like that, okay? So not too difficult. So my measurements here, I'll put them up on my blog probably for tomorrow for you. But this one here was 3 1/4 across. I cut this one at 1/2 inch, I believe. And this one I cut at 1 inch. And then I just kind of overlapped them so that they would fill in the card. But I will put all the details over on my blog at www.saralynnstamps.com. So look for that tomorrow. And then we're going to take our pretty butterflies. But before I do that, I'm going to stamp. Oh, shoot. And I was going to do something else and I forgot. You know what? I forgot. Let's do it anyways. Okay, I wanted to bring in some blending brush because I really felt like when I did this, my butterflies weren't popping last time. So I have the Starry Sky ink, and we're going to use our blending brush just to ink this up a little bit. So I'm going to again take my scrap piece of paper that I had, and I'm just going to mask this off, which means just cover it up so that I don't get ink on this other part. I want ink on this part of my card. So what I'm going to do is rub this around so I get ink on here, and then I'm going to just add a little bit of color around my card like this. So I'm pulling over this color onto this side, just a little bit around, not everywhere, just a little bit around, and it's going to pull in some of that blue. Okay, there we go. And see how it just kind of ties that in a little bit, but it's going to give me a little bit of a base for my butterflies to stand out. Okay, so now I've got the hello out of my card, and I just want to stamp that directly onto my designer series paper, just like that. Okay, see how that looks? So it stands out. You don't even have to have a separate piece of paper or a label. You can, but you don't have to. All right. And I'm not going to put these on with dimensionals because I'm just taking my wings and folding them up just a tiny bit. So that's going to give me a little bit of dimension on my card. And I'm actually, you could use glue dots as well, but I'm going to just put a little bit of liquid glue on the back here and put them on my card like that. So do you see how that blue just really kind of makes our butterflies pop? So all I did was take my blending brush. You could use, again, your daubers or a sponge, add a little bit of color onto your designer series paper there so that your butterflies are going to pop. And I just want to kind of lay this out a little bit. I think I'm going to put this little guy right here. And again, I've just kind of curled up the wings a little bit. And then we're going to do the same with this one. I think I'm going to just put that right there. Let me move this over a tiny bit. Oopsies, not that far. And there we go. We've got our pretty card. So you could definitely add some more bling to this if you wanted to. But I've got the shimmery white cardstock here, which is going to give me some glitter on there. But it's just a really simple spring card for you. And I wanted to show you how we can take those techniques that we've been using the last couple weeks, the blending brushes and the Stampin' Blends to make another card. So I hope you like this. Let me know in the comments if you have tried this, if you're going to try it, if you enjoyed today's card. And again, go over to my blog, www.sarahlynstamps.com. You can, 1, sign up for my newsletter there, and 2, you can get all of the dimensions, cutting instructions and stuff over there as well. Probably tomorrow, which will be Thursday, June the, are we the 12th or 13th? I'm not sure. It'll be up on there anyway. So look for that there. And thank you for stamping with me. This is what this is about, getting together, stamping together, enjoying our craft and hobby together, sharing ideas. So I really do love when you join me. I love when you share this with your friends who might also enjoy this. So hit share and send this over to your page. The more the merrier, the more that we can get together, the better. So happy stamping. I will talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.